Anime is a beautiful medium because it tackles so many aspects of the human experience. One aspect of it that gets brought up oftentimes is the concept of revenge, right? And today we decided to take a little bit of a different route and focus mainly on one specific anime slash manga, which is Hunter x Hunter. We will do our very best to not sound snobbish or pretentious at all because our passion for that story runs very deep. For myself and for my co-host, who's usually the main host, Raven. How you doing tonight, brother?
What's up?
So we're going to be delving deep into the notion of revenge as Hunter x Hunter approaches it. And before we go even further, I wanna ask, Raven, have you ever been slighted to the point that you went blind with rage and wanted retribution in that very moment?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, usually I keep my head calm, cool, collected. Like that's how I like to be. I
Mhm.
don't really like those quotes that you hear when you're young, like in movies, like don't stoop to their level. I
Yeah.
think there's even like a philosophical quote like let me see, like basically like don't be like the person who slighted you. Basically something like that. You know?
Mhm. Yeah.
There's kind of a quote like
Be,
that, like
be the bigger person.
yeah, be the bigger person, basically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I always like kind of try to like hold that truest, try to hold myself in like a noble regard and be the bigger person. But there's definitely moments in my life that, especially when I was younger, I don't think it really has much to do with youth. I think it has more to do with the level of control you have over yourself in that moment. That has nothing to do with age. That has everything to do with experience and emotion and your mental state, which can be affected by age, but is not completely determined by age. There's definitely people that are younger, that are super composed, and will never seek vengeance, and there's like people that are older that are not as composed, and they're easily like kind of flustered and angered, and any
You
transgression
know,
kind of gets to them.
it's interesting because I've always thought that revenge is something very normal and very natural. Like I never understood why society as a whole, in almost any culture, they vilify revenge or seeking vengeance.
Yeah,
Where I think it comes from a righteous place. When somebody has wronged you and you feel that you deserve retribution, I think it's only noble that you seek it and that you even on the playing field. People say, "Oh, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind." I mean, that is true, but it's think of like Full Metal Alchemist or Alchemy and the concept of equivalent exchange. That's the way I look at it. I'm like, hey, listen, you've done me dirty or you did wrong by me. I can't let that slide. I have to even it out. That and of course I never act on it because I like we are just saying, I try to be the bigger person, right? I don't want to be that guy who's like, oh yeah, let me just go. But it's something, and I think I've mentioned this before in one of our previous conversations where I was like, I hold myself to a certain standard. And I know that doesn't mean that everybody should hold themselves to a standard similar to mine, but it'll be the smallest things sometimes that I just they rub me off the wrong way. Like for example, let's say you're walking in a door, right? And then there are
yeah,
people behind you, whatever. You know what I do personally? I just hold the door. I don't do that annoying thing where you hold the door behind you as you keep going. No, I just step outside because I figure it just makes more sense. It facilitates the whole process for everybody involved. Let me just hold the door, right? So I hold it, and people just walk in and say thank you, this and that, whatever. What pisses me off is the people who you hold the door for like that, and it's not something that you needed to do, and they don't even look your way. They don't say anything like you're the butler. Like that's your job. Like that's what you're supposed to do. At that point, because I have my own internal set of values, that dictate this is just something that I do out of the kindness of my heart, but it's not something that you should take for granted. So you need to show a certain level of appreciation for what I'm doing here, because I'm not required to do this. I'm just doing this because I want to, because I feel like that's, but it's the energy. Because you can ignore me and that's fine, but there's a certain way of ignoring that's like almost as if you're looking down on me because I chose to put myself in a servitude position. You're better than me.
Yeah.
That doesn't sit well with me. And so it translates to other aspects of my life where it's just like, if I wouldn't do you like this, or if I wouldn't do you wrong, I don't know, like, why would you do that to me? But I guess not everybody thinks that way. So it's different for some people, you know?
Yeah. Definitely, I think that if you are one to take revenge, I think one of the worst attributes that attaches itself to revenge is like eagerness. Like you're too quick to pull the trigger. So let me
Mm,
give you an example, and this might kind of help to kind of visualize what I'm saying. Let's say we're in a fight, Teddy. We're in like a boxing fight,
mm,
and I throw like a really light flicking jab at your forehead. You know,
mhm.
I just hit you on the head tap. This punch is not gonna knock you out, right?
Yes.
But I just hit you in the head.
Yeah.
You know, and let's say your reaction to that is like, oh nah, he just hit me in the head. I'm pissed. I'm gonna hit him with the same punch back. And so you throw your flicking jab at my head, right?
Mhm.
And then I throw my flicking jab at your head. And you're like, oh, nah. And then you throw yours. And then I throw mine. And then you throw yours. And then you throw yours again. But what happens when you throw yours again? You're overcommitted. You just stepped with the jab. And I, instead of answering back with the flicking jab, I just throw a straight right hand bomb. And that's it. You overcommitted because you got too over eager because you were blinded by revenge. And that's, I think, one of the pitfalls of revenge is if you are going to seek revenge, the best way to go about it is to remain calm. Even if you want the satisfaction of revenge, if you want to seek justice, you should keep a clear, level head and not allow yourself to be consumed by your emotions because that can basically lead you into a bear trap. You're going
Mm.
to become blind to dangers around you. And I think that's one of the like kind of basic dangers of revenge that I see people kind of fall into.
Yeah, it should be cool, calm, and calculated, right? It's like
Yeah.
I'm going to think this through calmly because you don't want to rush into it and then it becomes a bigger problem, right? Or it turns back around on you. That's the worst case scenario. It's like, see, my ideal approach to revenge is this sense of completion and totality. What do I mean by that?
Hmm.
If, say, um, and this is a very extreme example, right? Let's say like you live in a crime riddled uh, community, right? And a gang member killed, I don't know, your brother, right? It's an example like that, right? Gang
Hmm.
member kill your brother. My philosophy on revenge requires you to annihilate that whole gang and their close ones to make sure that the cycle of revenge doesn't continue, if that makes sense. Because if you think about it, let's say, oh, you pinpoint the exact person who did it, and you find them, you decide to end them. It's like, okay, you dealt with them, but guess what? They also had close loved ones that that are going to miss them and that are going to mourn them. So now they're gonna come for you because they're like, why did you kill our so and so? And they don't care that he's the one who started it, quote unquote, right, in the first place by killing your brother. They're just gonna come after you. So in my mind, I'm thinking, let's just get ahead, get ahead of that problem, just eradicate everybody. What do you think of that?
I think that that's technically the one of the better ways to go about it. Like if you want to get
See,
revenge against a group,
great minds think alike. Yeah, go ahead.
the best way to go about it is to eradicate everybody, right? But that the big question is if you can't, like, can you eradicate all of them? You know
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
that's always the question. Yeah,
And the thing
that
is also like if you man, if you make it to the summit of this journey, right?
mm,
You reach what you want, you reach revenge, will you still be the same person or will something in you break, you
that
know?
yeah, yeah.
And I
Especially if it's a journey versus just a one-time thing.
yeah, versus just like a quick like it's kind of right there,
Mhm.
you see it right in front of you. It's just like you just have to reach your hand out and there's justice right there, right?
Yeah.
Like I know one of these infamous stories. I don't know exactly which what the names are or what the specifics were, but basically a woman, I think her daughter was you know, unfortunately her life was taken by this man. Um and so the mother of this young girl, she shows up at the what do you call it? The courtroom, right? When the
Mm.
guy's on trial, and she blasts this dude. She blasts him straight through the chest, through the head. Well, I'm not sure if it's through the chest or through the head, or whatever. She basically takes this dude's life, the dude
Yeah,
that took her
she
daughter's life.
finishes him off. Yes.
But the thing is, at the cost of her ending up in jail herself and losing out on decades of her life. Now, there's two ways you can look at it. Of course, the popular way of looking at it is, well, what this woman did was great because she like I would do it. You know, that's what most people in the comments would say. I would do it if I
Yeah.
was a parent and my child's life was taken. I do not care. I'm gonna show up to that courtroom, and they're not gonna give justice, so I will. But at
Hmm.
the same time, justice will come at the price of your life.
Yeah.
And I know obviously one of the biggest question is, would your daughter have wanted that? Would
And
that woman's daughter have wanted that for? That's one of the common kind of arguments against that. What do you think, Teddy?
yeah, yeah, no. And I think at that point it takes a certain amount of resolve to do that because mind you, for some people, for some of those people, their child is their entire lives. Meaning when that child is gone, their life in their eyes is essentially forfeit.
Yeah,
Whether they're in jail or out in the free world doesn't make a difference to them anymore. So at that point, they might as well just go through with it. That's the way some of these people think. They don't think, oh no, I'm going to be in jail, like oh no, because we've kind of talked about this before. After the dead is departed, the people that really suffer, the ones that are left behind to mourn them. So we might wonder, would they have wanted me, or would they have wanted that person to seek revenge or to commit this crime? But they're not there anymore.
yeah,
So for them, it's like it's nice, but it's almost in their eyes, it's almost pointless because they're dead. It's over. It's done. So at that point, they're thinking, if this is it, then I don't care, and I'm just gonna go in, which is funny because you know who said that?
yeah. Going from Hunter x
Yeah,
Hunter said, "I
right.
don't care what happens anymore."
He
Basically,
he went through so much inner turmoil trying to rationalize the emotions that were going through him, which honestly I felt for him because he's a child. He doesn't know how to process all of these emotions and all of that stimulus. So it broke him at the end. But I feel like on a level, it's a very visceral, basic, primal human reaction he had there. When you really feel like you have nothing else to lose, like, first of all, you understand the amount of not just anger, but despair it takes for somebody to be in a place like that where they're thinking, this is it. I've I've I'm done. Since I can't go back and get this person, I may end myself in the process. And this is kind of what we're talking about earlier too, because you know, saying that if you commit a crime, you're going to end up in jail. You saw the state that Gunn was in after that. This
Yeah.
man did not care. He's like, If this is the price I have to pay, then so be it. But I swear to God, I will finish you right where you stand, Peter. Like, I don't care. Like, he was ready, right? He had made up his mind and everything, which I think is a very interesting balance that Hunter x Hunter creates between him and Kurapika. Because with Kurapika, it it's a it's a journey that he's been on, right? It's a project that he's been working on for years. And first of all, you remember what happened with him, right? With Kurapika, his whole clan got decimated. The Kurita clan got decimated by
Yeah, by the
the
Phantom Troop
Phantom Troop.
for the
Yeah.
eyes.
Mm. Yeah, for their Scarlet Eyes. And I think that as far as seeking revenge against anyone goes, I want to argue that Kurapika probably had the best case scenario because the people that he was going up against are people who don't have close loved ones. They're just by themselves, right? It's just that group. So once he's done with them, he doesn't have to worry about anybody coming and seeking revenge on their behalf. Right? The cycle ends with them. And I feel like that's the ideal case scenario you could possibly wish for, right? To not perpetuate the cycle of revenge. And so that's why I wanted to kind of get into I want to get into this topic of um
Yeah.
do you think that you can, like, revenge that is righteous and carefully and ethically planned out, do you think that's acceptable?
It's tough to say because like it the question that comes to my mind off the bat off rip is like, is there even such a thing as righteous revenge, you know? Because the thing is like revenge in itself inherently like is something that we look at in a negative light, right? Like
It's inherently negative, yes.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's inherently something that we look at as negative. It's something like I think there's even a quote that says kind of like along the lines of revenge is basically the fire that consumes the arsonist, right? I don't
Yes.
know who said that, but
That's
you
a
know, it
bar, Loki. Yeah.
yeah, like basically like obviously there's the famous quote from the Bible, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And of course revenge is not good. Revenge is actually evil. So revenge is basically, you know, kind of more of like the devil's answer. That's if you need to get your hands dirty,
Hmm.
that's the end, that's what you had to do. So I don't know if there's such a thing as righteous revenge because at the end of the day, like it happened to that mother, right?
Hmm.
She got revenge, but there's a reason that she went to jail for what she did afterwards, right? Now,
Yeah.
while we obviously put her to her pedestal, I'm like, listen, when I heard that story, I'm like, man, that's great, like good on her, man. Like, you
Hmm.
know, screw that guy that guy who did that
Yeah,
crime. Like,
she handled the business. She did what she had to do.
yeah, I was like, he got what was coming to him, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, you know, she did not deserve to go to jail for it. You know,
I
it's like,
agree.
and that's kind of the thought that comes into my
And
mind, like if there was another way to go about it though, we make shows about that actually. Remember that show that came out, that Korean show recently where the woman got revenge on like
oh
some
yeah,
high school
yeah, yeah,
bullies?
yeah, yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
That's kind of I think that's kind of what you're getting at, like this some kind of righteous revenge where like it's like you still kind of play by the books. You don't exactly like, you know, do anything that's going to get you in jail, but
Mhm.
you get your revenge. You get your just, you know, you make sure they get their
You
just
see,
dues.
the calculated and carefully planned out revenge I'm talking about, I um I equate that to
Kurapika.
divine retribution or karma, if you will,
Hmm.
where it's basically what would happen to you anyway, but through the person that you've wronged. Because there's also a saying that goes for every action, there is a reaction, right?
Yeah.
Many actions have consequences. And it's important for certain people to understand that when you commit certain acts, you're not going to get away scot free. One way or another, it's going to come back around to get you. And somebody is going to have to dirty their hands to teach you that lesson. And I feel like in the case of Kurapika and the Kurita clan, they were innocent. It's just that they happened to have those scarlet eyes, which were considered a very coveted treasure that the Phantom Troop wanted to get their hands on, and they didn't even end up keeping them anyway. They just sold them or gave them. I forget what they did with the eyes, but so they murdered a whole clan of people just for their eyeballs. Now that's very sick. When you do something like that, that's clearly evil, clearly foul. You don't have any valid or um positive reason for why you do those things. It's gonna come back around one way or another, right? It's like the like every action reaction, equivalent exchange. We can't just let you go through the world like that, thinking, oh, you can just do whatever, and no consequences are gonna come your way. So I look at Kurapika as a servant of karma. He's going through and he's cleaning them out because that's what they deserve for
Yeah,
their actions, right?
yeah, for sure. Like, I think there's even a quote that like Kurapika says, where basically, let me find it here. He's basically talking about like his idea of revenge, right? And he
Hmm.
says, "I do not fear death. I fear only that my rage will fade over time."
Ooh, yeah.
So like he doesn't care. And there's even another quote I have here pulled up from Alfred Hitchcock of all people. He says, "Revenge is sweet and not fattening." So there you go. Like you know what I'm saying? Like,
I like
like
that
it's
word.
basically like you don't have it's guilt free because you're not gonna get fat from it. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Now
And
it's a funny quote, but the thing is this, Teddy. I don't think that's true because while listen, did revenge come without a price for both Kurapika and Gon? I don't think so, man. I don't
I
think
think
so.
I think okay, so because I want to get into Gun because for here that whole case is something that we need to tackle on its own. But with Kurapika, I feel like he I want to say that he hasn't really paid a price yet because so hear me out. When he confronts Uvogin, right? He doesn't go straight into let me go ahead and kill you. He asks him questions about his mental state when he's killing people, right? He was like, what goes through your mind? What kind of thoughts, what kind of emotions go through you when you're what you do? It's like he's trying to understand because he doesn't want to just blindly kill them, but he also sees this as a duty that he needs to um fulfill on behalf of his clan because they got decimated. And he probably would have died too if he had been there when it happened. But he tried to understand. It's like I want to make sure that what I'm doing here is the right thing because I would hate to go through with this and then realize that you didn't deserve this for whatever reason. Like he tried. And Uvogin just laughed in his face. Was like, okay, thank you for confirming what I already knew. So now I can finish you off guilt free, essentially,
Yeah.
because you showed me that you're nothing more than scum that goes after people for personal gain. That's it. And that's what I mean when I feel like for Kurapika because it's so careful, it's so planned out, and notice how he's very well balanced. I feel like if you want to look at the ideal specimen for someone who seeks revenge, you look at a guy like Kurapika because when you see him on in his day-to-day activities, when and you're doing anything unrelated to spiders, he's normal. He's very even keel, level-headed, cool, calm, collected. He just goes through life. He's fine, right? He's not like, do you remember Sasuke at the beginning of Naruto? Like
Yeah.
brooding, always dark, like always
Oh
moody.
god.
And yeah, he wasn't like that. He's just like, I have a purpose. I know what I need to do, but I'm not going to act all evil just because, right? So I feel like as somebody who has such a dark objective as revenge for his clan, he's very level-headed, right? It's only just don't show him a spider, because then he just might kill you by accident.
Yeah.
Because yeah, he doesn't he doesn't like the spiders, right? But I think in this case, let me preface this by saying that I'm not telling people to seek revenge, right? The first chance that they get. But if there was an ideal way to do it, I say probably the way Kurapika is going about it. And I love that it works well too with the Nan power system, because he has to set very strict conditions over his ability. So it also that also keeps him in check, so he doesn't go crazy, right? Like he's kind of reined in because of that. And
Yeah. Do you think he will be stronger if he wasn't so like hell bent on using his Nen just on the Phantom Troop?
yeah, yeah,
Like that's something I always thought. Like his power, he made it so like his power is basically like like almost only good against them. So what happens if he was in the Chimera Anarch? His Nen would be absolutely useless
it would
against these
be.
like top tier. So like it's like for me that was always a drawback of it, where it's like, dude, I get it, you want to kill them so bad, but you didn't even kill them in the York New Arc. They got away first of all.
Um,
So your best chance of killing them, you let slip because of obviously there were circumstances behind it, but you let it
come on,
slip.
yeah.
And but the thing is like now what? Like your Nen is useless against anybody that's not them, and you missed your best opportunity. Of course, maybe you could spend a few years waiting for another opportunity, but it's very like it's I don't know, it's just like you're putting too much on the vengeance, you know? That's what I always got from Kurapika. But
Yeah,
I love his character, but I do see that as kind of being a drawback of vengeance
it's
itself.
definitely a drawback, because
Where if, yeah, if you
he's
put too
limiting
much in it,
himself.
exactly. If you put too much in it, it limits you, Teddy. That's basically what I'm saying.
No, that's true. That's true. And I see this is another thing too. I feel like most people, the people who are most prone to revenge, are those who are naturally extremely warm and kind-hearted, because when you do something that deeply hurts them, then they go off the handle, right?
Yeah.
And while I understand how it happened for Kurapika, because I mean that's your whole clan, that's your whole family, friends getting decimated for no good reason, for gone. Now, if you want an example of a completely frivolous way to seek revenge, you look no further than this boy.
Oh,
What was
here
he
we
when
go.
that happened? Like 14? Was he
Yeah.
12? So somewhere between 12 and 14. Okay. Because I know he, like, when the story starts, he's 12, but I think he grows up and yeah. But anyway, this man, and I love the way it was foreshadowed through Kite. Do you remember when he was like, okay, so when it's somebody who's clearly uh evil, who clearly doesn't care about their fellow men or women, he doesn't hesitate. But what would happen to his psyche if he finds himself in a situation where it's not like that? It's not as clear cut. What then? Right? And and we saw what happened
Yeah.
with Pito and everything. And to be fair, like, this is where a lot of people condemn Gon for this. I understand him, because many people may have forgotten this or may not realize this, but Gon owes his life to Kite. Right? Kite is basically a more of a father figure to Gon than Jing himself.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like the when he was a kid, the whole thing with the bear, he was poking the bear, and he, yeah. Long story short, Kite meant a lot to him. So to see him in that state, I got mad when I saw Kite made out to be like a puppet by Pito. I was like, nah, not Kite, not the homeboy. You can't be doing him dirty like that, right? Like he was basically reduced to, I don't even want to say a shell of his former self, because what that was just a, that was just a body moving instinctively. Dude was already dead. Like there was no soul in there. Like Kai was gone, right? And I don't know about you, but out of all the all the instances of characters seeking revenge or being angry because they're trying to get revenge, I think to this day that whole situation with Gon has been the most satisfying to me personally. Like, what I mean by that is I would never seek out revenge myself, but I'm living vicariously through Gon because he's doing what I wish I could do, but I can't because I know better. But not only that, it'll also destroy me the same way he destroyed him. So I understand that it's not a practical or sustainable route to go, but I wish I could. And
Yeah.
because of that, I enjoyed that moment so much. Like, should Gon be chastised for doing that? Absolutely. It should not be encouraged. But my God, it was extremely satisfying. And not even just the moment that he goes on his rampage. Do you remember that moment with Morel?
Yeah.
Yeah, iconic. This man made a mistake of asking me, "Hey, act like I'm the one who trying you trying to seek revenge against." Like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Mm-mm. That's how you're gonna forfeit your whole life. You know, throw your life away. You can't be doing that to yourself. So when I saw that, I felt rage building up inside of me as I was watching that, because I felt to myself, "Ooh, this feels so good to see." Like, I just mm, let him just let him get a taste of what it feels like. And what that moment also reminded me is that as sweet as revenge can taste, it's toxic, right? It can ruin you, and it's important to have people in your life that can bring you back in when you're about to go off the deep end, right? And that's why that moment was so beautiful to me, because yeah, Kilo right there, foregone. He's like, nah, man, relax. It ain't like that.
Yeah.
You can't let it consume you, right?
Hmm.
But sadly, eventually, like, notice how, so this is why I think the reason why people love Killua so much is, I don't know if you agree with this. Some people have a theory that the only reason Gon went berserk against Pito when he did was because Killua wasn't around.
Yeah, definitely, probably.
You
Because
think
Kilo
you
was a Kilo was a grounding force for him, for sure.
I
He
think
definitely.
you would have been able to like hold him back from going
Well, I
crazy?
mean, once he saw Kite and the state he was in, he was gonna go crazy no matter what. But Killua might have been able to knock him out, before then or something. But just like even going back to what you're saying, like with the like it's very satisfying seeing this moments like when you see Gon about to unleash the John Kempon on was it Morel?
Hmm.
Um it's very satisfying to see it. Like you said, it's an iconic moment because it's like, listen, we're thinking, listen, once he gets his hands on Pito again, it's
It's
over.
over.
It's like it
It's
doesn't matter. Like
over.
it's over. Like we know what's gonna happen. It's like it's almost like in Bleach or in Naruto or in especially in Bleach and One Piece, I'd say more so than Naruto, right? Where
Hmm.
Ichigo and Luffy are the type of characters that you believe in, right?
Oh yeah.
Like they might lose, but
Dude, I was
things
just
like
about to say, like, they take L's, but you need to make sure you put them down because when they come back,
It's
oh, they're
over.
coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah, like
They
it's like
are not.
you're just like, okay, I know once Luffy gets his hands on NL, it's over for
Oh, you're
NL.
getting cooked.
I know once Ichigo gets his hands on Aizen again, it's over.
And
It's
guess
gonna
what? He got cooked.
and he got
Face
cooked.
palmed. Get
So
here,
it's
son.
the
Like,
same thing with Gon and Pito. And I mean, of course, she got cooked too, or he or it. We know that
no,
for Pito
listen,
is
listen.
androgynous.
Over here, right? It's a she. You see those thighs? You see that face?
Hey,
Come on now, that's a she. Come
nice.
on now. She too thick to be anything else. But yeah,
Dummy
go on, my
thick.
fault.
No, you're
Dummy thick. Yeah,
dummy thick.
dummy thick.
But
Give me some of that.
so this is the thing, Teddy. So it's almost like we were talking about love. Remember last time in Is Love a Social Construct? Not last time, but a few podcasts ago,
Hmm.
where the media portrayal goes into it. Why is it that us humans we watch these moments of like revenge in Hunter x Hunter, and we get it's almost cathartic to us. We get a deep sense of joy and like almost gratification, satisfaction from watching these characters get revenge. It's because it's deeply rooted in us. You
Hmm.
know, we
It
want
speaks
this
to
stuff.
something very primal inside you.
Yeah. Have you ever watched those videos of like road rage, instant karma, or Karen's get
Oh,
instant
that
karma?
feels so good. Yeah, I've
Karen
seen
gets owned. They're the best.
it. Yeah.
Like when a Karen starts going crazy, she goes up in the subway, she starts tearing stuff up, and then the cops come. Like right after, they just walk in. They're about to get their sandwich, and then they find something else. They get something else too. You know, get two hands and a pair of cuffs. Um, it's very great to see that. I'm just like, man, this is awesome to see. But you know what? At the end of the day, you have to think there's a difference between Hunter x Hunter and real life because while Kurapika is getting revenge of the Phantom
Here
Troop,
we go. Now you're gonna rain on our parade. We're having such a good moment right now, man.
here's the thing. Listen, while Kurapika is getting revenge on the Phantom Troop, right, Teddy,
Hmm.
and Killua and getting revenge on his family, and Gon's getting revenge on his Pito and the Chimera ants, right?
Hmm.
We don't have the Chimera ants in real life. We have other people that are just like us. That person who flipped you off on the side of the road that you want to get revenge on so
You know,
bad,
that's a good point.
they don't deserve to die. They're not Meruem. They're not these mindless killing machines. Well, of course, Meruem changes in the end. So even he, like
Yeah, he
is a
becomes more human.
he's a great
Yeah.
example too. Like of like you may want to get revenge on this person so bad, and they may be evil, right? Let's say
They
this,
may be deserving of your wrath.
but
Yes.
at the end of the day, think about it this way: Have you seen Kill Bill?
You know, it's on my list. I have yet to see it.
Oh,
I've been, I know. Please, you're like the hundredth
have you
person
seen
to.
the latest John Wick?
Yeah. I've seen
You
that.
remember the in Japan, right?
Hmm.
And you know what happened? The woman's dad gets killed, right?
Yeah.
By Donnie Yen's character. And
Hmm.
in the end, she's going for revenge against Donnie Yen, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is Donnie Yen such a bad guy? He has family too. So at the end of the day, she might come to a moment in the next movie where she's about to kill him, and his 2-year-old daughter comes in the room and she's about to see, and she has to drop the knife because she's like, I want to kill this guy so bad. I want revenge. But at the end of the day, he's not like a monster, you know?
Hmm.
So these are kind of the dark, gray morality areas that kind of seep into revenge. Where, yes, in Hunter x Hunter and stuff, it's very easy to just be like, yeah, I root for Gon, like just kill
It's
that.
easier when the antagonist is not somebody that you can connect or relate to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's easy when it's in black and white, but in real life,
It's a
things are
lot
painted in
more
gray.
nuanced. Yeah.
Hmm.
But I feel like I like that example, the girl from John Wick that you just gave because a thought just crossed my mind because you the scenario that you painted was one where she's able to see herself in that little 2-year-old girl, however old she is, right? Does she not? Wait, doesn't she actually get revenge, or did they just black out at the end, right? So you don't
Yeah,
know
they
for
black
sure
out.
if she did or not.
Yeah.
But my thinking is, um, it could go a different way.
Yeah.
Imagine she's not able to stop herself in time, right? And she does stab Mans through the heart and then notices, oh, he has a daughter. What if she also kills the daughter, not out of spite, but out of mercy? Because right now she's that daughter and she knows the pain of losing someone and the anguish that comes with trying to seek revenge. And she thinks to herself, I don't want you to go through that. It's a miserable existence. And I don't think you're going to have the facilities to achieve vengeance against me anytime soon. So let me just end it right there. Just make life easier for you. It comes from a very humane place almost because you're trying to spare her. It's kind of dark, isn't it?
You know what, Teddy?
Mm,
If she kills that daughter,
yeah,
she kills herself.
she does because literally, like I
That is
said,
her. That
she
is
that's
that is who she
her.
is. And you know
Yeah,
what? There's even a quote by Confucius where he says like, before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig two graves, one for yourself. So this is the thing, like, when you are willing to go to that point for revenge, you have to accept the fact that you're willing to throw your life away, because the human life was not meant for revenge simply.
mm,
And when you're going on a quest for revenge, that's almost heart consuming, where it's almost like a fire that just consumes your heart. You've already forfeited your life. There's even a quote from Spice and Wolf where the main character Lawrence says, "We do not live in a fairy tale world. We cannot simply take revenge on those who have betrayed us and say, 'Oh, the end.' We actually have to live on after the revenge." And
with the
taking
weight of our
revenge
actions.
Yeah, and taking revenge for betrayal only invites more revenge. So it's an endless cycle. And I know Naruto has actually explored that like in depth. Of course, Hunter x Hunter, which we're talking about, that's the main like kind of topic about this stream. Look at what happened to going after his revenge. Look, he can't use Nen ever again.
Yeah, yeah.
His whole he threw his life away, man.
It messed him up a good bit. Yeah. I
He
mean,
might as well have died.
and honestly, given how important it is for a hunter in their world to have an end, he as a hunter, he's become useless and obsolete. That's true. He this all praise to Togashi for writing the story in that way to let people understand like this is what happens. Like no revenge ever comes at no cost, right? Like it
Yeah,
it, it will cost you one way or another. But mind you, we're talking about extreme cases of revenge, right?
yeah,
You don't always have to kill somebody to get revenge on them,
yeah.
right?
Like you were talking about before, like the little like there's almost like, I don't want to call it petty revenge because I don't want to make it seem like it's
No,
like
but
I'm
I know
looking
exactly
down.
what
But you know
yeah.
what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
someone shuts the door in your face, so next time you get a little payback, you shut the door on their face.
That's
Kind
the
of.
way I've thought about this was that if somebody um hurts a close one, I don't want them to die. I want them to live out the rest of their days in misery and suffering. You're going to pay for the rest of your life for what you did. And that's
Yeah,
why when the the justice system works, then you don't have to worry so much about revenge. The problem is, we live in a society where we're supposed to count on the justice system to do its job so that people don't just seek out revenge on their own, right? So you're going to get the retribution that you seek through justice. Problem is, there are times when it just doesn't work.
yeah,
And at that point, you have to take matter into your own hands. Like, for example, there's something that happened. I don't know if it was recent, but I heard about it recently where this little girl was getting sexually taken advantage of by, I think it was an uncle or some family member. And her brothers went to the police, went to the authorities and reported him. And guess what they did?
What?
Absolutely nothing.
No, I was about to say that I thought they would have given him the key to the city with the way
Ah!
the cops be acting
At
nowadays.
that point, they might as well. I
Yeah,
swear.
bro,
But
like these cops are useless sometimes.
they're absolutely useless because they'll say things like, "Oh, we need absolute and undeniable proof that your claims are true and not false allegations. So we can't take action until we've confirmed the veracity of your statements." Meanwhile, they're witnessing it. Their little sister is suffering from it. So guess what? They had to take matters into their own hands.
Yeah,
And almost every, because now see, and this is where the justice system is so broken. Now they want to send those kids to jail when all they did was protect their little sister.
yeah,
At that point, like what are we supposed to do? It's like, I understand we have a system in place that to make sure that justice prevails, but then a lot of times it doesn't. And so what do we do then? Right.
hmm
But
dude. And
yeah.
let me
Mhm.
ask you this, bro, because I think what you said is important too. Like we're giving extreme examples. Let's say this. What if, let's say this. Okay, so let's imagine a world where you only see your mom like once a year, right, Teddy?
Mm,
You only see her once a year. She comes out to wherever you're at, and you only get to see her once a year. Let's say she lives all the way across the world or some shit. She lives in France or some shit. Um, and she comes over every year and bakes you some cookies. Now, your mom made you these cookies. These are your favorite cookies. These are
mhm,
some of the best cookies like in the world. And let's say this moment, like your mom just left, she left you a bunch of cookies in the fridge, right?
mhm,
And you're saving them. You're working today, but you're gonna be home tomorrow to eat these cookies. Now let's say someone sneaks in while you're at work. They break in, a burglar breaks in, and he sees all these cookies. He's like, oh no, I smell these cookies. I smell them from the fridge, even though they're cold. I'm gonna pop them in the oven real quick and have them with some milk.
oh no, that's
And
a
he
violation.
he eats not one cookie. He eats every single
Oh,
cookie.
that's disrespectful.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and listen, Teddy, these are your mama's cookies. They're the best cookies you ever had. Like, you're looking
Blasphemous.
forward to getting these cookies. And the thing is, you catch it on the camera. You know who it is. It turns out to be
Oh,
like your coworker
oh
that you're
no.
gonna see the next day.
Oh no.
Like what? Like how
Oh,
do you
I
go
am
about?
cooking up something fierce for that. No,
That's
listen,
how are you gonna get a revenge? What's your preferred?
laxatives. I'm going
Ah,
to make the most delicious coffee, right? And be like, listen, I make this coffee for you. I feel like I don't show my appreciation for all the hard work you do. You really helped me out a lot. So here, I have this cup of Joe I brewed specifically for you. You're gonna enjoy this. And
shit.
then as they drinking it, I was like, I would offer you cookies, but you finished them all.
Just so that he has a moment where he starts sweating. He's like, oh, "Wait, what?"
Literally, as he's drinking the coffee, he's gonna think, like I'm just gonna be like, yeah, see, this coffee's delicious, ain't it? Yeah. You know, I'll be even better. Some cookies to go with it. Problem is, I had a bunch. I don't know what happened to him though. Like they're completely gone. It's like, oh yeah, really? And then he starts to get the bubble guts. Like, oh,
Yeah.
is it working?
Yeah, man.
And make sure that the toilets are occupied when he needs to go. It's
Yeah.
over.
Oh my god.
Oh, sweet. See, it's sweet. The revenge is sweet and guilt free. I love it.
Yeah. And you know
Just
what?
yeah.
You know what? Like
Mm,
another form of revenge too is like, I know this is a common one. Let's say in a relationship and you find your partner cheating. There's a lot of people, their instant reaction is to just get angry. They become filled with rage. They go into the kitchen, they grab a knife or they grab a bat, and they end up doing something that is going to put them in jail for a very long time. That is not the way, my friend. The way is what most people, most healthy people, say about their exes. I'm sure you've heard this before, Teddy, where people say, "Listen, my greatest revenge is being able to flex on my ex with who I am now, because who I
mhm.
am now, they wish they would have stayed with me." You know, I'm making money, I'm looking good, and look at where
Hmm.
they're at. You know, they cheated on me. Listen, the greatest revenge is karma. Is like just the natural karma, the natural turn of events. Because they decided not to believe in me. They thought they were gonna pull a fast one on me and live life all hunky dory. Well, didn't turn out that way. Look, I'm up right now. You know
Yeah, I
that
guess
that
at that
Drake.
point you just gotta trust the process of life to take its course and exact karma on your
Yeah,
behalf, you know? And
I'm up right now and you suck right now, kind of
mhm,
thing. You know.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm up and worried about that. So no, it's true. It's true. I feel like that's the right message, right?
yeah,
To send to people is don't try to seek out revenge for yourself because in the flames of revenge you might end up burning yourself as well, right?
yeah,
You don't want to be your own collateral damage. However, I feel like as we've seen with Kurapika and with the laxative coffee, there are ways to get around it. There's ways you
yeah,
can do it, and it won't be too bad. Just make sure that you have a right head on your shoulders when you're doing it. But
yeah,
yeah, because me, I'm never because remember we've said this earlier, right? It's something about seeking revenge that just feels really good deep down in your gut. You're able to it's like an itch that you're finally able to scratch, right? It is something about it that feels inherently really satisfying. And I'm never going to be the one to deny that um that feeling, but you can't let it consume you, right? That's the problem. And with somebody like Kurapika, I feel like he's doing a pretty good job of not letting it consume him. I mean, he's fighting it though. He's fighting it, but so far so good. Even in the manga, so far so good.
yeah,
Gon, on the other hand, he
yeah,
just he let go, right? And again, I reiterate this: it felt good. It felt really really good. Just seeing because it's like it's quintessential shonen power up done really really well. Like you I don't know. It's hard to find any better way to do it. The only thing I can equate it to, and people are probably gonna call me blasphemous for that, especially with I don't know if you've seen online recently the debates between Gear Fifth and Super Saiyan. People were trying to
yeah,
debate which is more iconic. Which I don't know why they're setting up Gear Fifth like this because nothing will ever be more iconic than Super Saiyan. And if something ever comes along that changes that, I'll rescind my statement. But I don't think that'll ever happen. Having said that, though, that gone moment is the same for me as Goku going Super Saiyan or Dangai Ichigo.
yeah.
That was good.
What about Naruto, the first Cupid transformation?
Oh yeah, like the very first one against Haku.
That one, or even against Sasuke as well. That one
Oh,
too.
I mean the one against Sasuke that felt kind of nice because Sasuke was really getting on my last nerve. Like man, teach him a lesson. Man.
Yeah,
He's being too emotional right now. Put him in.
yeah,
Yeah,
and he did.
that felt good too.
He slapped him up.
He literally did. He actually did. Like, he really slapped him up. But of course, Sasuke came back around because he's Sasuke, annoying
Yeah,
brat. I hate him. I mean, I don't really hate him, but Sakura though is the one. But we already cooked Sakura enough. I'm gonna, you know what's gonna happen, and we can just end on that on this lighter note. We're going to. I'm sorry. I need to apologize in advance, but we're going to be bullying Sakura on a regular basis. So get used to it. Okay, it's something we're gonna do because she deserves it. Every time I see clips of her, I get reminded why she's so useless. And people think it's a meme. No, it's real. And you can go down the list, like play by play, of moments in the story where she was absolutely like, I mean, she has her moments. She has her moments, but overall, we
Overall, she's
struggle.
useless.
We struggle.
Yeah.
Very useless. But yeah, but I'm glad we're able to kind of delve into this because is this we love Hunter x Hunter, and these are some of the aspects of the story that we revisit just casually every once in a while because they stood out to us so much. So I'm glad that we got this opportunity to share our thoughts with the people and delve deep and do what we usually do. So I don't know. Do you have any last takeaways for the people before we get out of here?
Yeah, for sure, man. Hunter x Hunter is a really deep story,
Very.
and this is only scratching the surface level, I guess, of one of the kind of themes and philosophical topics that it kind of delves into. So we'll definitely get into stuff more. I definitely want to get into like humanity versus nature and stuff like that, which is one of the themes that it gets into, and I think it has a lot to say about that. Um, so well, yeah, we're definitely going to touch on Hunter x Hunter some more in the future, and I think this was a great kind of light topic to get into that's really easy to kind of
This guy
digest.
said light topic. We're talking about this.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's something that most people can like kind of understand. Like compared to like, Bleach and Kierkegaardian grief and like Stoicism and here and there, like those are a little more kind of hard to digest, hard to kind of grasp, But revenge is like,
Yeah, I think when I think light, I don't just think in terms of how difficult it is to understand. I'm just thinking about how heavy the topic
oh
is in
yeah, yeah, yeah.
itself. Like like the notion of revenge is heavy. It's
It's
not like,
heavy. It is heavy.
but
Yeah,
the way you break it down, like yeah, it's not as complex as some of the other stuff we talked about before. That's true.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. But it was a great one, man.
Oh yeah,
It was
absolutely.
a great one.
It's a banger. And with
Yeah.
that, guess we'll be seeing y'all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.